Our scriptures come from Deuteronomy 15, and verse 7 through 11, and Matthew 2, verse 1 through 18. Now, if there are some poor persons among you, say one of your fellow Israelites in one of your cities in the land that the Lord your God is giving you, don't be hard-hearted or tight-fisted towards your people, towards your poor fellow Israelites. To the contrary, open your hand wide to them. Deuteronomy 15, 7 through 11. After Jesus was born in Bethlehem, in the territory of Judea, during the rule of King Herod, Magi came from the east to Jerusalem. They asked, "Where is the newborn king of the Jews? We've seen his star in the east, and we come to honor him." When King Herod heard this, he was troubled, and everyone in Jerusalem was troubled with him. He gathered all the chief priests and the legal experts and asked them where the Christ was to be born. They said, "In Bethlehem of Judea, for this is what the prophet wrote. You, Bethlehem, land of Judea, by no means are you least among the rulers of Judah, because from you will come one who governs, who will shepherd my people Israel." Then Herod secretly called for the Magi and found out from them the time when the star had first appeared. He sent them to Bethlehem, saying, Go and search carefully for the child. When you've found him, report to me so that I too may go and honor him." When they heard the king, they went and looked. The star they had seen in the east went ahead of them until it stood over the place where the child was. When they saw the star, they were filled with joy. They entered the house and saw the child with Mary, his mother. Falling to their knees, they honored him. Then they opened their treasure chests and presented him with gifts of gold, frankincense, and myrrh. Because they were warned in a dream not to return to Herod, they went back to their own country by another route. When the Magi had departed, an angel from the Lord appeared to Joseph in a dream and said, "Get up. Take the child and his mother and escape to Egypt. Stay there until I tell you, for Herod will soon search for the child in order to kill him." Joseph got up and during the night took the child and his mother to Egypt. He stayed there until Herod died. This fulfilled what the Lord had spoken through the prophet. "I have called my son out of Egypt." When Herod knew the Magi had fooled him, he grew very angry. He sent soldiers to kill all the children in Bethlehem and in all the surrounding territory who were 2 years old and younger, according to the time that he had learned from the Magi. This fulfilled the word spoken through Jeremiah the prophet. A voice was heard in Ramah, weeping and grieving, Rachel weeping for her children, and she did not want to be comforted, because they were no more. Matthew 2, verse 1 through 18. Amen.
Touch Ebenezer Scrooge has a prescription for humanity at the beginning of the story. The poor have only themselves to blame and would be better off dead. So when he visited by the Great Spirit of the present, he is admonished to look. He must really see the truth of the suffering world and his own hand in it. Love is the center of the message this week. What if we molded our Advent, Christmas comings and goings as if we actually believe that God has already blessed everyone, and we are called to make visible and tangible those blessings?
Come in and know me better. Look upon me.
Look,
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 your hands,
your hearts,
your lives,
your compassion,
not for pity,
not for guilt.
but for love.
but for life.
look into my eyes and see who I am.
Sit at the table and eat with me now.
Know I am you, and you are me.
What I go through is not far from you.
Slaughter and famine,
Oppression and hate.
The parents of wailing in Bethlehem,
In Orlando,
in Dallas,
In Paris,
in Syria,
in Tracy,
God bless us, everyone.
There you are again. What a night I've had. Can you imagine? First, Marley comes to tell me of the spirits that will come to visit me. Now, Marley's a good man, you know. He's a good partner and an honest one. Sure he was. The other three, not so much. The third one, who just left me a few minutes ago, was, well, shall I say mercurial? Mercurial, why don't I say scary? That's what he was, you know. He showed me some things, and now I'm hearing voices. I'm hearing things. I'm feeling different. I'm feeling scary. And I don't know. I can't put it into perspective. I can't. 24 hours ago, I was a man of means. And a man who had things pretty well in order, and I had the poor. I put them where they belonged, thank goodness. And but now it's not the same. And now I'm hearing these voices, and I've met this little fellow through my dream who is. He's just a little cripple is what he is. I don't know much about him, but his name is Tim, and I kind of learned a little bit about him, and it kind of hurts me. I tell you, it hurts me. It kind of softens me. It makes me not know what to think. And now I hear these spirits coming from nowhere, coming in my brain, and talking to me. And I want to say for this little fellow, this little tiny Tim, I want to talk to the Spirit. And I want the Spirit to come back to me and tell me that this little fellow, tiny Tim, will live.
I see a vacant seat in the poor chimney corner, and a crutch without an owner, carefully preserved. If these shadows remain unaltered by the future, the child will die.
Now, there you go. That's not what I wanted to hear. No. Why do these spirits numb me so? Why do they come and why do they whisper and they point and they direct things, and I don't understand it at all. And it hurts me. And all I can say is one more thing is, oh, no, kind spirit, tell me that he can be spared.
If these shadows remain unaltered by the future, none other will find him here. What then? If he be like to die, he had better do it and decrease the surplus population. Scrooge hung his head to hear his own words quoted by the Spirit and was overcome with penitence and grief. Man, will you decide who shall live, who shall die?
They like you more than me, Lee. They never clap for me at the end. Haven't we just been so blessed by him week after week of this Scrooge? When I married Jaime, he had never cooked a meal for me. And then the week we were married, I found out he was a cook. And I feel like Lee and Darlene have been dating us this whole time. Little did I know that Lee had all these acting chops, and now that they joined the church, he's just acting all the time. And we give thanks for that. May the words of my heart, switch it. May the words of my mouth and the meditation of each of our hearts be with you, O gracious God. Amen. Scrooge was in a different time. Charles Dickens wrote Scrooge. I don't know if you know, the reason Charles Dickens' books are so long, he was paid by the word. Yeah. So he got real wordy. He was paid by the word, and so his books are long, and it was a different time. It was Scrooge is set in the 1800s, and it feels different. The words are different. The setting is different, and it's interesting. We talk about classics and the way that they hold up over time, the way that you can turn to them and they feel just the same. Often those are stories that deal with the principles of who we are as people, because even though our clothing and our dress and the way we talk and how we interact with people in terms of formality shifts, people are still people. We still have envy, we still have greed, we still have shame, we still have pride, we still have joy, we still have excitement. One of the things that our society, I think, is on the cusp of losing is our collective patience. No? Does it not drive you absolutely bizarre, crazy if you have to wait 10 seconds for your computer to load? Are you not ready to call IT? I realized this the other day when I was on the call, something's wrong with my computer, and the man says, well, how long have you been waiting? I was like, I waited a whole 10 seconds. That's ridiculous. Don't judge. I know you're all there too. And you think that you can fix it by just clicking it more? Oh, obviously I didn't understand the first time I went like this. Let me just do it more, do it harder, and your finger gets a little more sassy with the click each time. Just me? You all are much better Christians than I am. I forget this. We are on the edge of losing our collective patience because we have been given so much technology. Waiting in line, does it not drive you crazy? Oh, wait, let me guess, what do you do when you have to wait in line for most of us? Barbara, I'm not talking to you because you don't have one and you're never going to have one and you're never going to get one. But everybody else, what do? Pick up your phone and start scrolling, right? Well, I guess I'm going to be here a while. I might have to wait 10 seconds. Patience. We're on the edge of losing it because we have forgotten the time of waiting. I know in my house, the first time I hear I'm bored, some exciting something's about to go down. Because I hear, I'm bored. Can we turn on the TV? And in our house, your room has to be clean. You have to play outside for 30 minutes and play piano for 15 minutes before you can turn on TV. So you can guess how often it happens at our house. And right after that, there'll be a silence for about 15 minutes. And then after that 15 minutes, some imaginary play something. The whole house has magically been turned into dinosaurs. Or there's this creative art project in which they're building superhero costumes. Right on the edge of boredom and waiting is a whole new place. We're in the season of waiting, and I don't know about you, but most of us don't like to wait anymore. How long do you expect packages from the moment you make click? How long? 2 to 1 days. Listen, poor Amazon, my Amazon people, cover your ears. We know you work hard. Right? While I was in Cuba, one of my fellow clergy colleagues was trying to explain to his house mother, Cuba just got its internet. It's like this huge rage because the internet has just come. And so you'll just walk into a square of people and there'll just be as many of you sitting here, sitting and scrolling because it's a hot spot. And so one of my clergy colleagues was trying to explain Amazon Prime to this woman. How do you explain that to people? And then there's, they're talking about drones that will begin to drop it off at your house. Because we expect things to arrive at our house from the moment we say click to 1 to 2 days. We have given up on waiting. But to be in the holy season of waiting, what does that mean? Does it mean you're bored? That's what waiting has come to mean to me, right? I'm bored, and then I'm also, FYI, super frustrated that I have to wait, right? I'm angry that I'm waiting. I'm waiting in this line. I should have ordered my stamps online. 10 seconds, that's all it would have took me. You mean I have to wait in this line at the grocery store? I should have had it delivered, right? We've given up on it. So what does it mean? The holy season of waiting. You see, Advent means something different than just waiting, the way we've understood it, the way we've come to practice it, maybe is what I should say. Advent is actually, the difference, I like to think of it as, do you listen to people? If you're married, think about it this way. You know what they're going to say before they say it, so you really don't have to listen that closely. Wink if you're next to the person you do that with. Right? He's a little, I don't even really have to listen to you. Be quiet. Man, Jaime, go away. So I don't really have to listen to you to know what you're already upset about. And you hear it, right? I know what you're going to say. You're upset that fill in the blank because you already know it. That's normally how we listen to most people. We do it at work as well, right? We don't really listen to people. And so there's this new fangled thing called active listening. Listening with intent. Meaning you stop formulating your brain what your response is going to be and you actually just listen to what the person's saying. In this holy time of Advent, I like to think of what we've come to know as waiting has become this place of holding, this holding pattern in which you're just kind of bored. But this holy time, this time of Advent, is a different kind of waiting. It's actively waiting. It's fully expectant of a miracle. It's a heightened awareness, perhaps. It's a holy time for your senses to be keen and ready and just on the breath of expectation. This Sunday, it's the Sunday of love. What does love have to do with waiting? The Magi that we hear about today had been tracking that star 2 years before they got to Jesus. The Magi in themselves are quite a story. The Magi came from Iran. At that point is where they came from. They were probably descendants of China. They only appear in the book of Matthew. But they appear in the Christian tradition. They appear in the Quran. They're followers of Zoroastrianism, and they appear in the Greek, Islamic, and Christian traditions because they were known to be wise people. They're actually, in their belief, are the actual descendants of Adam. This is not a religion you can join, you were born into. There's still some of them alive. I think there's like 24 alive, but when those are gone, they will be dead because you cannot convert. They're quite interesting. They, I think, were in a holy time of waiting, actively waiting. They say there were 3 by our tradition, but I don't know about you, I don't think 3 people alone came from Iran at this point by themselves and tracked that for 2 years alone. I think they said, come on, we're going on a road trip. Let's go. Packed everybody up and went. They were in love with Jesus before they ever got there. They were in love with Jesus before they ever set eyes on him. They were in love with Jesus, not knowing what they were up against with Herod, who had killed the babies 2 years before. But they're wise people, because I think their group included more than just men. These wise people understood that there are people out there are forces out there that are against love, that are against Christ's love for us. But they said, no, we'll go. We will wait, but we will be active in that waiting. We won't wait till the boy grows up and he's bigger and he can come find us. We won't sit here and wait until it's safe to do so. We won't just sit here and wait until all the circumstances are right. We will actively wait to meet the Christ. I want to do that. I want to actively wait for him. I don't want to be distracted by all the details of my tinsel and my lights and my what else? Because it doesn't really matter if we're not actively waiting for a little baby to show up. Christmas time can be so difficult for some of us who've lost loved ones or are going through something in our personal life, and it seems as if it is so difficult to be present. The burns seem a little deeper, the pain a little harder. But with Jesus, the baby Jesus, he came into this world and said, "Look upon me. Look at me. I'm here for you. For all that you need, for all that you yearn for all that you ache, for all that you're broken, I am here for you." The Magi understood this. There was something extraordinarily special about this baby, something worth moving your life for 2 years to follow this star, to risk life and death, to actively be present, to offer their best to him as they bowed down and said, "We're here. And here's what we brought for you." I think of Mary in that moment. She's gotten off the donkey. She's finally gotten this stall. She's finally able to have this baby. And she's probably sitting there in the midst of that, right? Like, now what? What am I supposed to do with all this? Who's cleaning up this mess? Where am I supposed to go? Can someone find a shirt for the baby? Where's Joseph? And then they show up. And her moment, right? Of probably when she feels like the worst. The wise people show up. And they say, "Mary, we're here. And not only are we here, Mary, we know that this is special. Like, Mary, this is the biggest thing ever. We've been traveling for 2 years to meet him and you. Mary, we just can't believe it." They're the first ones, besides Joseph, who know about this. It wasn't her mom. It wasn't her best friend. It wasn't her neighbors. It wasn't the village. It wasn't the town. It wasn't even the place really where she was staying. It was the wise people who confirmed that wasn't just a dream. The angel was real. We know. We knew before you knew. Look upon me. Miracles abound. Look with me. We will see them together. Be in the holy season of waiting, of anticipation, of bated breath. It could happen even here. They can come. We could